if there was a regular fight, not a title fight, that's okay. But that's a title fight.
It's hard. To me, it's hard. I wish the ref would let it go just a little bit to see if Aljamain could recover a little bit.
It could have gone for a little bit longer, but it would have been bad.
That's a title fight, brother. The referee cannot stop this kind of fights because there was so much at stake.
Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. Now, what do these fights have in common? For one, they were both championship fights. 2, they both ended by TKO. 3, the decision to stop the fight resulted in some controversy. And then 4, both fights were refereed by the same person and the subject of today's video, MARC GODDARD. Now, if you're a fan of MMA and you follow the UFC closely, one thing is certain. Not only is MARC GODDARD one of the most popular faces when we're talking about referees in the UFC, he is also without a doubt one of the best referees in the brutal sports of MMA. And this is evidenced by the number of nominations and awards he has won since transitioning from pro fighting into becoming a referee. But sadly, he also has an unpleasant record of early and controversial stoppages, which, admittedly, is something referees are very susceptible to, especially in sports where refereeing decisions have to be made within a matter of seconds, and there isn't much time to contemplate those decisions. However, for MARC GODDARD, the fact that this has now happened on 2 occasions just 4 months apart from each other, and most especially because it has happened in arguably 2 of the biggest UFC championship fights in recent history, it just makes it hard to overlook it and write it off as one of those things. Of course, we understand that protecting the fighters is a priority for the referee, but then I think MARC GODDARD treats championship fights and regular fights like they are the same, like the stakes are the same, which of course they aren't. Championship fights take place between the best of the best. These are proven fighters in the sport who have been through wars to get to that spot. No one should be stopping championship fights as early and controversially as MARC GODDARD has done in these 2 top-level fights in the past 4 months. In the short time I've been consistently watching this sport of MMA and following the UFC, I can say with all boldness that I have seen countless times where fighters have suffered even more damage than those from these 2 examples, and the referee still kept the fight going. I've seen fighters look more compromised than these above mentioned examples, and on some occasion, they still find a way to turn things around because the referee gave them a fighting chance. Now, I want to believe that champions, more than anyone else, deserve to be given this chance to defend themselves until they clearly cannot. Once again, I'm saying no one should be stopping championship fights that early. Give a bit of credit to the champion at the least. If a champion is going to lose their belt to a stoppage, I think it has to be an unquestionable stoppage. One where it is plain to all to see that, indeed, the champion was totally done and needed to be saved by the referee. You know, suffering defeat as a fighter is one thing, and then being a former fighter who has tasted defeat on 6 occasions himself, I'm sure the pain of defeat is one MARC GODDARD definitely really knows well. However, suffering defeat as a champion is even far worse than that, because becoming a champion in MMA isn't the easiest feat to achieve, no matter how good of a fighter you are. It takes years of dreaming, hard work, and many more to get to that point. And to have that stripped from you due to somebody's bad, you know what, let's just call it questionable judgment call, is most definitely the most unfair way to lose a championship belt. You know, in the case of Sterling, he was still fighting back, kicking and throwing everything he could off his back. He did get caught by some of Sean O'Malley's punches, but then he was still showing intelligent defense. He was in the process of scrambling when GODDARD stopped the fight. This is not me trying to discredit Sean O'Malley's win versus Aljamain Sterling. I myself am a big fan of Sean O'Malley, so I'm pretty excited that he won the belt. I just don't like the controversy surrounding his victory. But here's the thing, on the flip side of all that I've said, we also have to take into consideration that refereeing at such a high level can't be as easy as it seems on the screen. These judgment calls have to be made in split seconds, so it's no surprise that a lot of them are actually not perfect. You know, it's just unfortunate that MARC GODDARD has had to find himself in the spotlight for this same reason on 2 occasions that weren't far apart from each other. This does not make him a bad referee. This does not mean he should be cancelled. This does not take anything away from him. Actually, to be fair, maybe it does take something away from him in that there will always be that cloud hanging over his head for the foreseeable future. And fighters may become weary of having him as the 3rd man in the octagon, as Merab Dvalishvili has expressed following the outcome of the Sterling versus Sean O'Malley fight. So, you know, for the sake of MARC GODDARD, let's just hope that such a thing doesn't repeat itself again in the nearest future. But then, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Do you think MARC GODDARD should still be allowed to referee high-level fights, to referee championship fights? when things like this seem to have become a pattern for him? Or do you believe all this was just coincidence and everything should just go business as usual? So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. Please make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and share the videos. Until the next time when I see you, peace.